This podcast is produced by Sunnydale Studios.
I don't want just anybody. Let me treat you like somebody. Try to dive on a Rari. It's forever, we ain't stopping.
Hi lovers, welcome back to another episode of Big Love Energy. I'm your host, Jesselou. Thank you for joining us again. Today I have in the studio a true superhuman. Margaux is an impressive woman, a talented breakfast radio host on Triple M Brisbane and social queen, plus a busy mum to 4 beautiful kids and wife of Origin legend Croix Parker. She also happens to be one of my very best friends, so I'm so excited to have a chat with her today. Let's get into it. Hello everyone. Today we are talking navigating friendships and I am joined by my dear friend Margaux Parker. Hello Margaux.
Hello Jessie, thank you for having me. Honoured to be here.
Yeah, oh my gosh, like you are Brizzy's most fave morning breakfast host on Triple M with Margaux. 104.5 I do believe for those.
Favourite amongst those who listen, not necessarily everybody, but yes, thank you.
Super mother of 4 beautiful children whom she shares with her doting husband Croix. We met in primary school and something about her wild vivaciousness, extreme confidence, love for dance and toothy smile drew this introverted, weirdo, mulleted haired nerd.
It was a vibe back then.
It was a vibe. I'm not sure if it was, but
we rocked it.
Drew me to you like a magnet. We just worked. We clicked. We soon became besties and have been in each other's lives on and off ever since then, a friendship spanning over near a quarter a century, which makes us sound super old.
Yes,
but
we're not that old.
Kind of are.
Yeah.
But I'm so thrilled to have you in today, and I know how busy you are. Probably one of the busiest women I know, having 4 children, working full time, and just the life of the party.
Productive,
so,
I like to call it. I hate busy. I hate that word.
Yeah,
we
the
use
B
it,
word.
don't we? As a bit of an
I
excuse,
know.
but productive.
But yeah, thank you for coming and sharing
Thank
a bit
you
of
for having
BLE
me,
today.
I have to be here for my oldest friend.
Yeah. What do you remember about those days? My memories, obviously, like I'm finding now as an adult, I obviously compartmentalize so much of it because, you know, a friend will share a snap with me from like school camp and I'll be like, I cannot remember that.
Yeah.
And I can't even, preparing for today's show, I couldn't even really put a finger on the moment we met or what year it was, what grade it was.
I think I'm a little bit the same as well, probably.
Yeah.
I remember we had a lot of fun, you know, but there was also a lot of drama because I think, you know, grade 6 and grade 7 girls at that age, you know, are going through a lot. They're vulnerable, they're hormonal, you know, all of the emotions. It's cliquey and, you know, you're fighting with friends one minute and then you're friends with somebody else and then you're back friends with those people again. So I just remember it being a lot of that, you know, like we kind of had a group, but we also were sort of friends with everybody.
Yeah, we were floaters.
Yeah, lots of, I've got not a lot of photos from back then.
Yeah.
So, but when I do see something, I'm like, oh, that's right, we did that or we went there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember it being fun. Like we just had a good crew and, you know, some of us all moved into high school together.
Yes.
From primary school, but it was a really nice little school and it was just good. I danced and I really loved a lot of that. And
so Margaux, for those who don't know, was a dancer and
a wild child.
And she went to the dance school that I would have killed to have been a part of, but my mother was like, there is no way that you're going to Wild Child. But you guys did a weekly Thursday night show at the Hyperdome, our local shopping centre. Yeah. Where you would do a fashion parade and all the shops.
Brothers Nielsen, we used to parade.
And it was an ordeal. It was like and because with my upbringing, like Thursday late night shopping was like my time to shine. Like we got dressed up and we would go and I just remember watching you on stage going, oh my gosh, Margaux Parker is everything.
Margaux Fisher.
Yeah, back then, Margaux Fisher. And you just dominated. And that would have been in primary school, yeah?
Yeah, that was like grade 7. I went to a Wild Child. There was a couple of other girls at the school because I only came to the school in grade 6. I was somewhere else. So I was kind of like establishing new friendships.
Yes.
And my mum, I had danced previously, and so she sort of encouraged me to find the dance school where all the other girls were dancing at this school. And it was Wild Child.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember Alicia Santona.
Oh, of course.
Can we say people's names? I'm not sure. she was dancing there at the time. And so they encouraged me to come across. And so that's how I started at Wild Child.
Right.
But yeah, look, it was a really great, fun dance school. We did lots of Eisteddfods and performances. And yes, we did the Hyperdome.
Yeah, it was a hybrid dance catwalk. So you would do the catwalk, but at the end,
dance in the middle
do
of
a routine.
Yeah, do a little routine and then walk again, you know.
It was groundbreaking.
Dance come modelling, you know, like whatever, in board shorts.
It was the dream.
And an Aztec rose top with a billabong cap, you know, like it was hot. And then, you know, like during the school holidays, we'd do the shows but no, it was a good fun time. And I don't know, it just... Yeah, it all kind of morphs into one. But like high school, I think I remember probably more. And I think our friendship probably was more solid through high school.
Yeah.
You know, because I was only really at primary school for those 2 years, you know, grade 6 and 7. But, you know, the 8 to 12, they were, you know, big times in our lives, you know, as individuals, but, you know, also in our friendship, I think it really developed as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And seeing your kids grow up now, they're so, like, it just takes me back.
And vice versa, right?
Yeah. They're just little mirrors. And just your eldest, Memphis, who just, to me, just looks identical to you.
Yeah, she's a mini me.
Yeah.
She's like my broke little best friend though.
Yeah,
She's got great taste, great style.
I'm sure she lives vicariously through you or leeches on, no doubt.
She just let me know that she, you know, she has all of these items in her White Fox boutique cart. And I'm like, oh, that's good for you when you get your own money. You can buy that for yourself, you know. But yeah, no, she's good fun and the kids are good. But yeah, it's watching them now establish and navigate friendships, you know, and it reminds me of when, you know, I was making friends at school and what it was like and a bit of the drama and, you know, you kind of give them advice based off your own experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's come 360.
Beautiful. And that leads me to another question I had prepared for you. What is the advice you give your kids? Like, you navigate your friendship so well, but now with social media introduced, what's some key points that you sort of give to your kids?
Well, I think the thing is always be nice. You know, you don't have to be everybody's best friend, but be friendly. You know, there's kids going through tough times, and I only know that now in hindsight. You know, you don't realize it at the time unless they're open about it and they talk about it. But so many divorces, kids are, you know, going through separations and they wear a lot of that these days. You know, in the olden days, our parents never discussed that stuff with us. You know, it was their business and you were a child and it was you're on a need to know basis. Whereas kids are exposed so much more these days and they almost go through a separation or a divorce with their parents. And so Memphis in particular, because she's sort of at that age, a lot of her girlfriends are going through that with their families. And so I always just say, you know, just be supportive, listen. If there's anything that you don't feel comfortable with, come to me about it and I can help you navigate that. Beautiful. You know, communication is huge. But I think it's just always be kind because you just never know what someone's going through. And you don't want to find out about it in hindsight and then go, crap, I wish I had been nicer to that person. I wish I had known so I could have helped them maybe. You know, so just I think that is probably my biggest thing. Always watch your words. You know, I always say that to the kids. Once you say something out loud, you can't take it back. Once you put something out in a text message, you cannot take it back. Once you put an image out there, you can't take it back. So just always be really mindful. And I know that that's a lot for, you know, a 12-year-old to take on, but I think that she's capable and mature enough to know. So they're just conversations we have. She doesn't have a phone yet, so we haven't had to navigate that territory. I'm really trying so hard to hold off on it. And I just say to her, it's not because I don't want you to have one. I want you to feel left out or any of those things, or I don't like you. You know, she's like, why won't you let me have one? And I'm like, I'm just trying to protect you the best I know how, because me being exposed to social media as a grown woman is a really difficult place to navigate. And I have the emotional intelligence to know when to not listen or to switch off or to not look, whereas she doesn't have that, you know. And when we got bullied as kids at school, you went home. They didn't have access to you 24/7. You got spat on the bus and then you'd walk home and that was it. You went home to a loving environment, you know, or your sport or your dancing or whatever it might have been. It was the next thing. Whereas now kids are online 24/7, you know, and they've got their phones in their rooms and they're on their computers and people have access to them. And so I'm just really trying to hold off on that. And so I keep saying to her, I know all of your friends have this, but I just don't want that for you yet. It's not no for forever. It's just no for right now. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm navigating that's new for me because we didn't have social media. You know, we had diaries and we'd write letters to each other and we had MSN, you know, at some point MSN Messenger and MySpace, you know, and it was about making your wall look really pretty,
Yeah,
you know.
TV hits, magazine.
Yeah, but it wasn't, you know, this constant visual, you know, confronting images that, you know, these kids are exposed to these days. So it was different. But, yeah, navigating just with friendships, you know, just being mindful that, you know, everybody's going through something and everybody deals with it differently, and just always trying to be kind. And if people are mean, you know, ignore it to a degree, but you also have to validate your feelings. If someone makes you feel really yucky, listen to that and just either disengage, don't spend time with them, spend time with people who make you feel good.
Yep.
And I think that's a lesson for us, you know, as well as adults. You know, we're still doing that. Give energy and time to people who give good energy and time back to you, you know. And so, yeah, so I try and sort of enforce just kindness and choose your words wisely because you can't take them back once you say them.
So wise. I love it. You've traveled all over the world.
Been fortunate enough.
Yes, been very fortunate to be all over the world, and you now live in the neighborhood that we grew up in.
I know, right?
How's that feel? Like I just can imagine it being quite melancholy, or is it quite is it what's the feels there?
I think initially I was hesitant to move back to that area. You know, I've sort of finished school. I moved into town. You know, I met Corey when I was quite young. We bought a house really quickly together and established our life, you know, and I didn't see anything outside of that. But it got to a point where we did have 3 kids. We wanted some space. We were living, you know, in Camp Hill at the time on a small block, all house. And I was ready because I'd sort of come from growing up in and around acreage. Big acreage. My family had property on the Sunshine Coast. Corey came from acreage out at Bow Desert, and that was something that we had sort of discussed that we wanted as part of our lifestyle, and we wanted our kids to grow with because we really loved being outdoors, and so we wanted the kids to have that as well. And when we were looking, which we did for about 6 months, we just couldn't find the right fit. And then a real estate agent said to us, "Have you thought about Cornubia? I've got a really great place there. It's off market, needs some work, but it could be really good. It's, you know, ticking all of the boxes that you want." And I literally said, "Nope, nope, I'm not. No, I grew up down there. I went to school down there. I'm not going back full circle, you know." And he said, I think you're really, no, I don't want to hear it. Show me something else, right? And showed us a couple of other places, and he kept coming back to it. He said, "I've still got that property. It's not going to market yet. They're doing the renos." And I said to Corey, "What do you think?" And he goes, "I don't think there's, you know, our place is there."
Yeah.
And he just kept pushing. So I said, "You know what, I'll just have a look at it," just to shut him up almost, you know, this real estate agent. And as soon as we drove in the driveway, Corey and I looked at each other and we just knew that this was
home.
Yeah. And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." You know, it ticked all his boxes. It ticked all my boxes. It definitely needed a paint and a polish, you know, like I could work my magic on it. But the foundations were right, and it just felt like home. It was that feeling where I just went, "Shit, this is it," you know. And I love it. You know, a lot of people say, "Why do you live in Logan? You know, like you could live anywhere. Why there?" And I said, well, you know, it didn't come without hesitation initially because we grew up down there, right? And Logan has a bit of a, you know, a name and a stigma.
There's so much hate for Logan, but I swear some
Logan
of the best humans have come out of Logan.
And you know what?
I'm really proud.
And that's something that I've really discovered. It doesn't matter where you are. You know, there'll be advantages and disadvantages to every neighborhood, right? And there'll be good people and bad people no matter where you live. But it's just a feeling.
Yeah.
And there's a feeling down there. It's a beautiful vibe. Yeah. We've met some incredible families. The kids are really happy at their school. You know, they're achieving, they're thriving, they're happy. They don't know any different. They don't know that Logan's got a stigma attached to it.
We didn't
They
either.
just know that, this is a great area and we're having a really nice childhood. And that's all that I want for them, you know. And we do love it there, and we've made some incredible friendships. And it's 30 minutes to everywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
30 minutes to Brisbane, 30 minutes to the Gold Coast. We're 5 minutes to the Logan motorway, which is where Corey's and my family are, like out at Jimboomba. So it's not far. It's really central.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't have a great local shopping centre. We're working on the Hyperdome, you know.
You love your high-end fashion. Is there a Gucci there yet?
There's not a Gucci in, I mean, not real anyway. 100% genuine fake, I think they call it. But you know what? it's so easy to access. You know, there's a Westfield on every other corner.
Yeah.
You know, if I need to really go to the shops, I can. But it's a beautiful area. Mount Cotton is on our doorstep. Sierra May's beautiful. Redland Bay, Vicky Point.
Oh, you're selling it. I might move back yet.
Yeah, you know, we do really love it, you know, and it's a great sense of community. Yeah. And we're happy there, you know, so it's nice.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Great lifestyle for
I
the
love
kids.
coming to visit you because I'm like, oh my gosh, that, you know, that little Chinese store's still there.
Right?
And the grocery store.
The thing I had, the weirdest moment that I had was when I got my first Triple M billboard when I started breakfast in Brisbane. It went on the end of my street that I grew up on.
Oh my.
And I drove down the highway. I cried.
Oh, I bet.
I drove down the highway and I was like, oh my God, Logan Girl done good. You know, like we get a bit of a bad rap, like, oh, you'll never amount to anything. You'll end up on drugs or pregnant or, you know, this, that and the other. And I've heard that said about, you know, my kids, you know, oh, they'll end up, you know, going nowhere. And I'm like, well, hang on a second. I'm a product of Logan and I've done really well. You know, you don't have
Shut your mouth.
You don't have to become, you know, your roots, I guess. But we have choices.
Yeah.
And I always remind my kids that it's a big old world out there and, you know, that they have such a great lifestyle now, but the world is their oyster. They can be and do anything that they want to be.
Hell
and it doesn't matter where you're from.
Preach. I love it. You're amazing. So we lost touch straight out of school because I left town pretty much.
Yeah, we both did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did run into each other in the clubs.
In the club.
A few times.
We did, yeah.
And just due to your travel and everything, we lost touch, and we probably caught up when we both became mums, really. Yeah. We had our little Lees, and I remember agreeing to meet in a public space just in case that after 10 years.
Well, I think we run into each other at the Hyperdome and you were just about to head over to WA.
Oh, right. See, I don't remember this.
And then from WA, you went to Japan.
Yeah.
And we'd sort of vaguely kept in touch. I think it was Facebook at the time was a thing. So we were kind of keeping in touch via Facebook. And then you came back and got married and I was at your wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. But you'd already had Jace.
Yes.
Because you had Jace in Japan.
Yes.
Yes. So there was that sort of few years after school and while you were in Japan that we kind of vaguely kept in touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you came back and you reached out and you're like, hey, I'm getting married. I'd love you to be there. And I'm like, of course I'll be there.
Yeah,
and then, you know, ever since then, I think it's kind of been, you know, outside of life and being busy, there's kind of those people that you just know that you'll always stay in touch with no matter what. We don't see each other even every 3 months, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
But I know if I needed you, I could pick up the phone or I remember your birthday still. It's one of those numbers in my mind, 8th of September, that's never going anywhere, right? And you and Christy Turgeon, I don't know why, February 10, I can't. They're like things.
Shout out to Christy.
I know, right? There's things in my brain that just, you know, won't escape.
Yeah.
Like I forget my kids' names all the time. I'm like, you.
Yeah, that
whatever
one.
your name is.
The middle one.
But yeah, there's just certain things and you know, people and come back around, you know, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not always constant, but you know that it's there.
Yeah. For me, it was so lovely because I really hadn't brought any of those friendships into my adult life.
No, me neither. I had one other than you.
Yeah. And so for me, it was just like, it just, opens up that part, like that Pandora's box. And it was when I think I started slowly piecing things together. And I think, you're so patient with me as a friend because I know you're such a fierce friend and you know, like I'm probably the last the worst at texting back out of all your friends, but you always make time for me.
Yeah. But it's not even about that. Like, I get it. Like, I don't have an expectation that you have to text me back straight away. So, therefore, that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And I know that you're super busy. Like you say, I'm busy. You are hustling as well. You know, you're doing this amazing podcast. You've got your beautiful business where you're so creative and that's such a Jessie space, you know. And then you have your kids and your life that you're navigating your own way through. Like, we're all just trying to do our best, you know, and some days we're on it and we reply to all the text messages.
I will reply to you when you're in Bali and you need a tattoo design stat.
Exactly. So, you know, when it's necessary, right, I text her at like 6 p.m. at night, seriously.
I was cooking dinner.
And I had this tattooist, we may have had a couple of drinks, come to our villa and I was like, oh my God, I need a tattoo. Oh my God, Jessie needs to do it for me. And she drew it at dinner. She's like, I'm just doing dinner, babe. Can I get it to you in a minute? I'm like, yeah, sure. You've got like 30 minutes. Get it. And you emailed it to the reception. They printed it out. And it's here on I can't even, my jacket's on. You made me wear a jacket. Look, now I can't get it. But I have this beautiful word love that you designed and drew, and then I also have my kids' names on my ribs, and of course a part of you with me always. And then my wedding anniversary tattoo is here. My rose with the beautiful words in the stem.
So always together.
Together, you know. And I think, you know, that in certain relationships, they're high maintenance, right? And you service them all the time.
Yeah.
You're talking every day. Sometimes it's out of necessity. Sometimes it's out of convenience, right? Your kids go to school together. So you're always in that mum-kid mode, right? And then you've got friendships that, you know, you never see. They live interstate or, you know, they're just hustling or they're low maintenance. They don't need your time, you know, but you know that you can pick up the call or throw out a text message and that they're at the other end, right? And then you have those ones that kind of ebb and flow every now and then, and you're like, hey, let's do stuff together. And then other times like I'm really busy, you know, and it just works, you know, and you have to have no expectations over friendships because it's different for every friendship. And I say that to all of my friends. I say, yes, it might look like I might spend more time with this person, but it might not necessarily be really quality time. Right? I give them a lot of time. It's quantity, right? But it's not quality. But then we do things and I haven't seen you. I've seen you maybe once or twice this year. But then we do something like this that's really quality and meaningful.
Our girls' trip recently, we went to Sunnydale and like it, like honestly, those times it honestly feels like the quality's so there. Like you end up spending the whole time in such deep, meaningful conversation, reflecting that you end up nearly in tears the whole time. Or you'll send me a random message like replying to an old photo, like a school photo recently, and you were like, I miss that girl. And I just was like teary instantly because that connection you can't really replace. It's so special.
And it doesn't go unless you don't nurture it, you know, on some level. But you always have that history there, you know, and it plays a part in your life forever.
It's beautiful. So next question, how do you juggle mum life and your career and you still manage to have so much energy for friendship? Are you just a high energy person or does it take a lot of work for you?
Bit of both. I know that I have to give myself time to be able to have the energy, right? So it looks different. Self-care, you know, we talk about that. Self-love, self-care, it looks different for everybody. You know, we're all really good at, you know, nails, hair, eyebrow waxing, you know, like the aesthetic stuff. I'm really good at going, hey, you know what, I'm really tired. What does my body need right now? It could be a massage where I know I'm going to fall asleep for an hour on the table and someone's rubbed their hands all over my body, which I will take every day of the week. And I've had a nap, you know, and I don't feel guilty because if everybody was like, oh, you get up so early, do you nap? And I'm like, I feel really unproductive when I just nap for the sake of napping. So if I were to go home and jump into bed and sleep, I feel guilty about that. But if I go and have a massage, I don't feel as guilty because I feel like it's almost productive time too, you know.
Multitask.
And not everybody has the ability to do that. So it looks different for everybody. I might, you know, make sure that my supplements are, you know, on. I'm, you know, back in the gym exercising because it gives you energy, right? Because sometimes you're like, I don't feel like working out. But sometimes that's the thing that you need.
Yes.
To give, you know, back to yourself, you know, mental clarity, physical, you know, it kind of covers lots of bases. But sometimes it's even just quality time with a good friend over a coffee and having a chat, you know, like it looks different all the time depending on, you know, where I'm at in my life. But it's one of those things everybody always asks, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't know, you just do. You know what you're capable of, right? And everybody's capable of something different. I'm really competent and I'm just good at getting shit done.
You've always been.
Just efficient, you know, and sometimes, you know, things might get overlooked because I'm just always going through the motions and I might not reply to a message or I might not get an email, you know, those sorts of things. But it's not that there's a lack of care. It's just sometimes an oversight.
And you don't beat yourself up for those things because I do. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst ever.
I don't think you can because I think most people are relatively forgiving, you know, and if it was really important, they would circle back and bring it to your attention again. You know, I'm like, if I don't reply to your message, call me. If you need me, ring me. You know, I will always pick up my phone. And yeah, like emails is like the worst thing. That is the thing that I'm not good at. Like if I drop the ball, it's emails, and it's school. Like I get 4 sets of school emails for 4 kids, sport, academics, excursions, exhibitions. Like my son's up me at the moment because I forgot to order him an exhibition t-shirt. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is,
What's
mate.
the exhibition?
What's an exhibition t-shirt?
No.
He's got to do this. They call it exhibition, where they present their assessment that they've been working on, and you could have bought a t-shirt to signify that this happened, right?
Just nope.
And I just didn't even, he goes, Mum, 3 emails. And I'm like, mate, this is the first I've heard of it. You have not said to me once anything about a t-shirt. Oh, but I'm going to be the only one that doesn't have a t-shirt, you know? Luckily for the mum community, right, the mum tribe, who we love, you know,
Yes,
those
we
mums
love.
in the group chat on Facebook Messenger or in the, you know, the Facebook class group that just have their shit together. They know when book week is, you know, they've got suggestions.
I
for costumes.
literally messaged a girlfriend from school.
I live for those mums,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We love them, you know, and I just said, look, I missed the link. Does anybody know if shirts can still be I ordered 2.
Oh, did
One
she?
mum. I ordered 2, so I have a spare.
love
I'm
her.
like, we love you. Let me know how I can get the money to you. You're amazing. You know, like
Yep.
we love those mums. But it's community.
Yep.
You know, really, that's how I
Yes.
do it. I have an incredible husband,
Yes.
first and foremost. He does school drop off every morning. He does lunches. He does uniforms. He does that grind, you know, that 2 hours, hour and a half in the morning where you're just hustling to get them out the door.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'm at work. So I have him to do that, and he does an incredible job, and he's got a really good routine down pat, and the kids respond well to it. He also just happens to like cook and clean and, you know, do
It's payback. You
washing.
He has had his time.
Yeah.
It is mum's time.
That's
and
exactly
you've-
right. Yeah.
Yep.
I've only just gone back to work in the last sort of 4
Yeah.
years. You know, and then when I'm home, you know, I play my role as
Yeah.
well, and I'm forever in the car, you know, like
Yep.
it's just 2:30 to 7:30 in the car, and you're going from school to sport to sport to sport, back to home, back to sport. You know, you're forever picking up and dropping off. Forgot the boots. Oh, I've got to turn around and go back, or I'll
yeah.
bring them back later,
Kill
you
me.
know. So it's just, you know, I
Even
have a
mum.
great husband.
Yep.
Good teamwork at
Yep.
home, good communication, diarising. We swap calendars. You know, I invite him, he invites me. So we know where we are because it's a lot logistically. But mums, you know, like I probably, you know, my family is busy. My parents both work. They have their own businesses. My sister has her own children. Corey's family, same thing, working, have their own families. We don't rely on our families a lot for babysitting or help with sport and that sort of stuff. It's other mums, you know, like just even, you know, this week and the weekend, I've got another mum, 2 other mums having my kids one of the nights, and they're having a sleepover, and then she's taking them to soccer for me tonight so I can be somewhere else. So you just kind of utilize, and I think asking for help is probably one of the hardest things that we can experience as being mums, and that mother guilt, you know, that stuff, it's awful. But if you don't ask, you don't know, right? And, you know, the mums, they get it. They know that I'm busy. They see, you know, and they're like, we've got 1 kid, we've got 2 kids, you know, I can help. I'm going to soccer. Let me take one for you. You know, they get it, and they offer a lot of times, you know, and I think that community is imperative, and it's so important. You know, there's some mums that have just got their shit together and they just do it, you know, and they can. I need help. And so I get that from other mums in my tribe, and I love them for it.
Beautiful. And I know you're quite social with that group as well. So is that the way that you can sort of repay? Like you just have this beautiful energy to
create
give back?
experiences.
Yeah.
You know, that's my thing. I love creating experiences, whether it's a birthday party or an event or a dinner, or, you know, like going to an event of somebody else's and getting a table together and going, hey, this looks like a really fun day out. Let's all go together. And they're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me, you know, because I get to go to lots of stuff through work. You know, I'm really social as well. I'll say yes to the opening of an envelope, you know, like I love going to stuff if I can manage. And, you know, not a lot of people get to experience that. So I like being able to share those experiences, you know, with other people as well. So, most definitely. I think
throw a party.
Can throw a party. I love it. You know, everything should be celebrated, I believe. But I love, you know, creating a really fun, great experience with good people, good food, good drinks, you know, good music. Let's have a good time, you know, because life's tough, you know, a lot of the time. So it's also there to be enjoyed. And so I like creating those experiences. I mean, I'm sure I would have been an events planner in another life, you know, or
to
something
be
like
your
that.
friend is
an event.
Is a good time. Clinging on for dear life. Do you remember me from 25 years ago? I'm still here.
That's totally a thing. I'm like, you know what? Get on the train or jump off because I am going full steam ahead and you're either with me or you're not. You know, I might circle back every now and then just to check on you, make sure you got off okay. But, you know, just check in. You good? We okay? We still like each other, you know, like it's not that I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm going.
my life is going this way and you're either,
I love it.
you know, staying on board or you're getting off. You know, some people can handle it. Some people can't, you know, and people come and go all the time. You know, rhyme, reason, season, whatever that saying is. But yeah, I definitely think that, you know, people come and go from your life for reasons or they stay.
And that confidence that, you know, you are so when I think of you, I just think of vivacious. Like I think you're such a, like I knew that when you walked through the door today that you would come through the door, arrive. I'm here.
I literally did that, I think. Yeah. I was like, coming through the back door.
That's what she said. And then, oh my God. Wow. And like, I know that you've always been that way, but where does that come from? Is that just you? You live unapologetically. You show up on social media unapologetically. You're like, I don't like filters. I don't like, even today you're like, I've just come straight from the gym. Are you going to make me put makeup on?
She made me put a shirt and a blazer on just for you. I'm like, I'm not doing full hair and makeup, okay? You want raw and unfiltered, this is it. But yeah, I don't know. I think dancing, obviously, you know, coming from that sort of stage background, you know, where I was putting myself out there and dancing and I was talented. You know, I was a good dancer and so I was never short of confidence because people always told me that I was good, right? And so there was just this air of confidence, but I think it's something that you're born with as well. You know, my mum is very confident in her abilities and she's super intelligent and smart, and she established a lot of really great self-security within myself. You know, I've never really been like an anxious or insecure type person. It's kind of like, well, if you don't like me, you know, too bad, so sad, whatever. I'll eventually get you to come around, you know, kind of thing. And I guess in a sense, you know, maybe I might be a little bit of a people pleaser because I want people to like me because I'm fun, you know, and I'm a good friend, you know, and I can say that because, you know, like, yes, sometimes we don't reply to messages, but that's not what value of a good friend is, you know. And I know that if you needed me, I would get in my car no matter what. I would leave my kids in bed at sleep in the middle of the night to come, you know, kind of thing. So, you know what's important when it comes to friendships and what you value. But I think, I don't know, just maybe dancing and being on the stage and always putting myself out there and obviously it comes from, you know, my genetics, my DNA, how I was raised. But we had a really loving, you know, home and environment where we were encouraged to
shine,
you know. I tried every bloody instrument, you know, and my poor mum, you know, all of the dancing, all the costumes, I was in every routine, drove me all over, you know, to get to the performances and she was a dancer as well. So she got it, right? And she wasn't a stage mum. So she taught me how to do hair, makeup, sew on a button and a sequin if I needed. And she would watch from afar, you know, but I always knew that she was there. I didn't need her to be front and center and barking at me like I do my kids. I'm like, man, you know, she watched quietly from the back, you know, and just allowed me to do my thing. And she said, you know, if you love dancing, dance. If you don't, stop. And it was as simple as that. So, you know,
epic.
And I definitely had a love-hate relationship with it. You know, there was a lot of pressure, you know, with the way you looked and the way you held yourself, and, you know, being in the front, being on side with your dance teacher and, you know, all of those sorts of things. So it came with its pressures, but I had the confidence to be able to deal with that even from a young age. I think I was pretty mature. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just something that you have, you know, and it's one of those things, you know, you can fake it till you make it, or you can fake it until someone catches you out, right? Just be yourself and own what you're good at instead of trying to be something that you're not.
Amazing.
I try to be underconfident, but it doesn't work for me. So I just continue to keep being overconfident, you know, and here we are. But yeah, no, it's one of those things, you know, not everyone's going to like you. And there's that old saying, you're not everyone's cup of tea or whatever.
Peach. It's the peach. You could be the juiciest, ripest peach in the world, but not everyone likes peaches.
Someone will go, oh, it's dripped all over me and ruined my top, you know? But some people will be like, oh, my God, that's amazing. I love all the drip. Some people are like, oh, my God, I got peach on my shirt, so you can't please everybody. Someone will find something about you that they either love or they hate, and you either make allowances for people and I'm really good at that. I'll be like, okay, look, that's not great about her, but she has all of this other stuff, that I really enjoy. So I'm willing to overlook that.
Yeah, no one's perfect,
No one's perfect, right? And you either talk it out or you just ignore it.
Yeah, we're pretty good like that. We've had we're pretty open. There was one time I think I was a little bit intoxicated and we had a parenting moment and I was like, oh, it was something to do with how I dressed Jace. With the caravan park. And
he was sick and you said it was something. I said, put a jumper on him. You're like, don't tell me how to be a mum. And I was like, okay, well, don't put a jumper on him then, but he's going to be sick, But we had that moment and we moved on from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so important with friendship.
She's just brought it up.
just saying how we work through things.
But I know that sometimes can be, a disadvantage, like a flaw of mine. I am quite, even my mum says, oh God, you're so brash, so confronting. And I'm like, righto, mum. But I get that I can be, intense, I guess, in a sense, where I just do say what I think and feel sometimes, but it always comes from a place of goodness.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I love
it's never malicious. It's never ill-intended. No. It's coming from a place, but I love that I can be that way with my friends and those who can, manage it or mind it, do. And I think, we're better for it.
Yeah. I almost come to you when I know
what you're going to get when you come to me.
I know. I'm like, I need some truth slapped into me.
And I know if you're avoiding me, it's because you don't want to know the truth, right? Absolutely. You can go to another friend for that, right? Yeah. You can go to someone else who's going to make you feel fluffy and nice and go, oh my God, poor you. Yeah. Whereas I'm going to go, well, you got to be accountable, sometimes. Yeah. And you need people like that in your life.
Absolutely.
You need people who are going to pick you up when you're down and then you're going to people who are going to slap you across the face and go, get your shit together. Let's do this, know? And that's the friend that I am for most people, you know?
Yeah, and we love you for it. You're amazing.
I hope so.
We are going to go into one of our weekly segments. Thank you for that chat. I could do chat all day.
I know, right? I'm like, am I talking too much? I'm sorry.
I'm sure the listeners will love it.
Did I even answer the question? No.
No, you're amazing. I said before, I can't believe I keep on inviting friends onto this show that talk for a living and make me feel like a dweeb. But here we are. You're amazing.
Job. We're so proud of you. I think that's the other thing as well,
I'm very
really
lucky.
Seen you flourish and, me having known you the longest, I guess. It's so nice to see people that you love achieve and be successful and do what they love. And I know that you've finally found that, and we all try and find, like I never knew I was going to go into radio. I wanted to be a mum, I wanted to travel, I wanted to dance, I wanted to make money and I wanted to be a mum. Radio wasn't a thing, and we went through so many different platforms, I guess, Pumpski, and there was so many different invitations and stationery, but your thing was always being creative, even when I talked about those letters that we used to write to each other at school, right? Yes. You would draw beautiful love hearts and scriptures and calligraphy and, color them in and, they were always so beautifully presented and your writing was always incredible, and you even changed your name so many times because you're so creative, like just trying to find out who you were, in this world, and we'd be like, oh my God, what's her name this week? But you were Jessie from the Walk, you were Jessie Delacroix, Coulter, you had all of these different aspects
personas,
of who you were, components of who you were, and you were just trying to figure out how to streamline that, and you're now in a space where you're still, doing so many things like this, as well as, doing all your beautiful poetry and your artwork and being creative in that space. And it's so nice to see you finally and be recognized for it. People love you for it. And, we all cherish it. I have I'm tattooed, your work is on my body and it hangs in my home and I have your decals that say slay on my mirror. So when I get dressed, and do my makeup, I'm like slay girl, and I think of you. So, oh my God, stop it. But it's nice. And so I'm happy to support you because I know I can see that you're doing really well and I love you for it.
I love you. Cut.
But it's good. Women need to support women, you know, like we say that. It's so easy to say, but actually doing it is something different.
Absolutely.
You know, and it goes back to the doing it all thing, you know, juggling all the balls. You know, I'm happy to promote charities that I think are doing incredible stuff and women who are really trying to make a difference in the world, are trying to help others no matter what it looks like, you know, and this on some level is going to help someone, you know, listening or in how to establish themselves and their confidence. You know, I might, you know, help inspire someone in that way. You might help inspire someone to go, you know what, you know, it didn't start how I would have loved it to, but I can choose the ending.
Oh, I love that.
You know, the journey along the way, right? But I have the ability to change the narrative of how my life goes.
Yep. I've tried.
We all have that. Yeah, you're trying, you know, and that's all you can do is try, right? And if we don't, you know, it's trial and error. That's life. We don't know what's going to, you know, work out or play out, or there's no guarantees in this life, literally no guarantees. You have to create your own destiny. That's it.
So wise. So
and it's
beautiful.
Choice. It's totally choice.
Yeah.
You can choose to wake up every day and be miserable, or you can choose to wake up and smile and go, you know what? Different day today. Let's tackle it and let's make the most of it. You know, if you hate your job, leave it.
Yeah.
Go and find another job. There's plenty out there. Start your own business. You know, do a side hustle until you've built it up enough that you can leave your mundane shit job that you hate 9 to 5 and do your creative stuff instead. You know, like we have options, you know.
And you're testament to that. To be on radio every morning. Never would have picked that.
No.
And here you are.
No, exactly.
Thriving. Yeah,
just
absolutely.
do it, you know, until they tap me on the shoulder and they're like, right, you're shit, now get out. You know, it's one of those things, you just keep doing it, you know, and if you love it, that shines through.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. We are going to go into one of our segments, Love Letters. Love Letters. We did put a question box out to the listeners and we had lots of lovely questions for you. Okay. And we've chosen 3. So first one is, how do you go about letting go of adult friendships that don't serve you anymore?
I'm really bad at this because I'm a fixer. Yeah. Right? So I want to fix people, and those allowances that I made for them that I don't really love about them, I kind of just put up with. Even so much to the point that it impacts me and, you know, how I feel about myself, I guess, and the energy that I give to somebody. But I'm a bit of a fixer, so I like fixing people. So, you know, relationships that I probably should cut, I don't, because I'm sentimental, you know, right? And I love the history that's there in the friendships. But I'm learning to get better at it, and just not even it's not about cutting for me because I'm not great at severing ties, right? It's just about allowing that to slowly fade out of my life, you know, not putting so much time and energy into it, you know, when they reach out to me because they need it, not because they're inquiring about my life or curious or want to see me. Oh my God, you know, I need you to debrief me on this kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, I'm really busy. I've got other stuff going on. You know, I can do 2 weeks instead of, oh, yeah, sure. Let me know what day this week suits you. It's putting boundaries in place for myself, right? Because I don't want to just go, you know what? I don't like you anymore. I don't want to be your friend kind of thing like that. I can't do that. No. You can't sit with us anymore. It's more just knowing what my boundaries are and keeping my personal space, you know, it's really important just to get back to protecting my energy. So just saying, you know what, I'm really busy, but, you know, in 2 weeks on Thursday I can, you know, does that work for you? Oh, no, sorry. Okay, great, no worries. Or they don't reply, or they go, you know what, actually I really need to spend time with you, you know, because I'm really good at filling up others' cups. Yep. And people are happy to take, right? Take. But then they forget to fill your cup back up because they just think that you don't need that because you're Margaux and you're strong and, you know, you just keep doing what you're doing. But, you know, I need cup filling too sometimes, you know, and I have certain friends that I know I can go to who I give cup filling to that are going to give me it back, you know, and I just might spend more time with them. Yeah. But you know the people who drain you. Yeah. And so it's just about limiting your time with them. You know, it doesn't have to end badly. It can just slowly fade out.
Little fizzle. And if it is, it's nature's just taking its course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful. How do you deal with really opinionated friends in your 30s?
Well, that's me. I don't know. How do you deal with me?
Like I said, I love it.
Yeah.
I need it.
Look, I'm all for, because it's literally just an opinion. Yours is yours, mine is mine. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just our opinion, right? And I like having that conversation. I'll question you on something. If you don't agree with me, I'll be like, okay, great. Why? Why do you think that? Or why do you think that I'm wrong? Or whatever it might be, you know. I want to know. Like, I'm curious. I'm not going to get mad because you don't agree with me. I'm not going to go, oh, well, you're not my friend anymore because we don't think alike. We're allowed to think differently. You know, and I think it's, again, just making allowances for people in your life, knowing that, you know, she is just that way. You know, she doesn't mean any harm by it. She's going to say what she thinks, or don't ask.
Yeah.
Don't ask. Don't put it out there for them to give it an opinion on, and then they can't give you an opinion on it if you don't want it.
Yeah.
Or ask for it if you do want it, and just go, hey, look, I really value your opinion, but go gentle on me. What do you think about this? You know, and you can have that fun. And if they're a good enough friend, they'll get it. You just got to say it, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone's got something to say these days, you know. Yeah. But I think just being honest. Yeah. And just saying, and I've had a friend say that to me before. You know, when you said that really hurt my feelings. I'm like, oh, genuinely, I'm so sorry. Like, okay, well, why did that hurt your feelings? Yeah. And, you know, asking and being genuine about it and going, you know, that was not my intent. I'm sorry. You know, or sometimes jibey.
Yeah.
You know, like you think
you're harmless, right?
Fun and being sarcastic and playful, and you might say something that kind of digs up an old issue for the other person. Triggers, that you aren't impacted by, but it triggers them, right? And so you go, oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't nice. I won't say that again, you know? And I think it's being accountable, you know, as the opinionated person, but also finding out why did that upset them? Yeah. Why did that upset you? You know, what is it about what I said, you know, or that situation, do we need to talk that out? Yeah. You're still holding on to something that you haven't worked through. Can I help you with that?
Turn it into a positive.
Turn it into a positive. Yeah. Don't get upset or throw a tantrum or go, oh, we're not friends anymore. Yeah. Yeah. I think conversation, you know, and we've kind of lost that with social media, right? Yeah. Yeah. We've lost that art of conversation and knowing how to talk to each other because we're so just used to double ticking and tapping and liking and leaving cute. Oh, hot babe. Yeah. You know, like we don't really have.
There's enough monitoring that you're not actually checking in. No. You're like, oh, they're all right.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. And we all know that Instagram is a very small, you know, portion and, you know, part of our lives. There are things that happen, you know, but there's not always context or there's not always an explanation behind them. So I think, you know, the art of conversation has really been lost unless you talk for a living or you're doing a podcast, but just in friendships, you know, and everyone's so busy in their lives that, you know, they're just kind of, they're getting through the motions themselves, you know. So sometimes just stop down, have a coffee or have a meal and talk. Yeah. What's going on in your life? How are the kids? How's your husband? Yeah. How's your job? You know, just
grow together.
Talking. Yeah. And growing. And that's the thing. You can either be great friends and go deep and get dirty and gritty and have tough conversations that make you feel uncomfortable, but go, hey, you know what? That's who she is, but I love her anyway. And we move on. Or you can go, you know what? I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm just going to start to slowly separate myself from that person because I don't agree or feel that way anymore.
Yeah. Just don't align.
You don't
that's
align.
Fine. And that's fine.
And that's okay. Yeah. And people change.
Yeah. Absolutely. How to make friends in your 30s and 40s?
Well, it's different if you have kids, I guess. Yeah. It is if you don't have kids, you know, but gym, you know, activities, going to the gym, group workouts. I mean, I make friends everywhere. I literally will say hello to everybody at the groceries, you know, at the checkout. Like, hey, what's in your trolley? You know, like, what are you cooking for dinner tonight? Because I need some help. My kids won't eat anything, you know. But yeah, I think I just, you know, it's that be friendly. You know, you don't have to be everyone's friend, but just be friendly. You know, you don't know when someone's having a shit day and they just need a smile. Yeah. Like I smile. Walking in the shopping centre at Coles, I smile at people, walking up down the aisle, pushing my trolley.
There's that lady on the billboard.
Like, is she crazy? What is she smiling at me? Oh, she got a tick? Like what is happening with her face, you know? But I think for me it's been my mum community, you know, and just being okay with not being across everything all the time and going, you know what, hey, is there like an excursion coming up soon? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, next week. Great. Did you get your slip in? And I'm like, no, crap. Okay. And they're like, oh, I'll forward you the link.
Yeah.
You know, like just being honest.
Just builds, yeah.
Not, I got all my shit together and I'm okay over here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm running late for pickup. Would you mind just holding River for 5 minutes because I can't get to her by the time her teacher will leave and she'll have to go to after school care and I don't want to pay $40 for her to go to after school care. Can you just wait with her for me? And I'll be there in 5. I'm running late. You know, like being honest about that, not trying to have it all together. And I think people lean into that because they don't have it all together either, right? And so they're like, oh my God, she's like me. Great. We can be friends. Or I can ask her because I know she's happy to ask me. Right?
So good.
So I think just allowing yourself to be vulnerable and just, you know, being friendly.
Beautiful.
You know, getting a sport.
Yep.
Go and play mixed touch or mixed netball on a Wednesday night. Yes, it's okay to leave your kids and not make dinner. Let your husband make dinner or do microwave or ravioli. Boil some ravioli and throw that Latina fresh sauce in it, you know, because it works and they're going to eat it, right? And go and play touch or go to the gym. Go for a walk, you know. Or if you see someone who walks the neighbourhood all the time.
Lurk in the corner.
Need a walking partner? I'm here, you know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, just put yourself out there.
Just put yourself out there, you know, don't be afraid because the worst thing they're going to do is say no.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, no worries. No harm in asking. Oh, yes, oh my God, I would love someone to walk with, you know. I'm away from my kids and normally I just put a podcast in and I walk. But yeah, I'm happy to have a chat, you know, establish, you know, I think
you got to trust the universe too. Like you will attract the people that are meant to be in your life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
You know, new neighbourhood.
Yeah.
Go and say hello to the neighbours.
Yeah. Got a cup of sugar?
Got a cup of sugar, you know, take over a quiche. Hey, welcome to the neighbourhood, you know. I just did it recently, right? So someone just bought a house down the road and she reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, I know you live up the road. I just wanted to introduce myself. We've just bought that house. You know, we're a bit busy at the moment with work, but in a couple of weeks, let's catch up for a wine. Easy.
Done.
I'm like, that sounds amazing. You know, I'm always looking for new friends. I'm here. And we had a barbecue on the weekend. And so I reached out and I said, hey, not sure if the timing is right now. We're having a barbecue on Sunday. A few people from the neighborhood are going to be here. If you want to come, feel free. You know, just BYO drinks.
Yep.
You know, I've got food covered. We're doing pizzas.
And that wouldn't have happened if she didn't put herself out there.
She said, I would love that.
Yeah, beautiful.
Came up and she made 3 other family friends, you know, like who live behind her and down the road from her, you know. And now I have a new friend too.
Beautiful.
You know, who's really lovely. And my other friends roll their eyes at me and go, oh, a new one, another one. You know, here she goes. Geez, you work quick. She only just moved in last week. And I'm like, well, you know what? If you don't, opportunities will pass you by.
Yeah.
And she might live down there sad, lonely, and she could have been a part of something really great.
Yeah.
You know? And now she is.
Yeah.
You know, welcome to the family.
There's plenty of Margaux
it's
for everyone.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we have lots of fun though. But I think just putting yourself out there, you know, and, you know, maybe doing something out of your comfort zone, go and do a pottery class.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it might be, you know, just do it.
Yes. Nice.
Just do it.
Beautiful. We're going to go into another segment, 2 of 3, Flashback Faves. Flashback Faves. For me, I want to know something nostalgic, whether it's a song, a movie, a show, a space and time that sort of you feel has helped shaped who you are. What's their fashion sort of faux pas, or I remember you had very...
No faux pas, babe.
No faux pas. I actually have one for you.
What's that?
I just remembered for our
formals. Yeah, we both channeled Hollywood A-list red carpet celebrities.
For me, it was J-Lo in the Versace dress. Yeah. in the rip-off.
The low front.
Yeah, but it was an actual
open.
Very cheap rip-off of the Versace dress.
You looked hot, babe. And mine was Charlize Theron.
Yes. And that
orange
iconic orange halter neck dress, which had the little
stud things.
Yeah, diamonds.
Diamante clips.
Yeah. You rocked that outfit.
Yeah.
And
do you know what? We had a really well-dressed formal, right?
Did we?
Yeah.
Where was it? At Fitzy's? Was it at
the Crest, babe. Is it Crown Plaza?
Oh,
Crown Plaza.
Fancy.
On the corner of Roma Street there.
Oh.
You know, opposite City Hall. We
don't remember
fancy. That. We had a really well-dressed crew, I thought. All the girls looked really beautiful. You know, Jesselou had that beautiful blue low back with the ruching in the bum. You know, Alexander Oviarch always had great style, and she had that beautiful pink fuchsia one shoulder. Like, I remember that stuff, right? Everybody, like, rocked it. But, yeah, I think my semi-formal dress I loved.
Was it black?
Black. Yeah. It was strapless. And I can't even remember. It was in Maya Centre upstairs in the city. My mum took me shopping. It was like Christopher K or Christopher crisscross, I don't know, something.
Some sort of.
But it was black and it was strapless and it was short at the front and long at the back. It was like a mullet dress.
Super 90s.
Super tight, super fitted, straight across and then long at the back.
Yeah.
And I loved that. We were on the island. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Was it the island or the Islander?
Yeah.
The Islander.
There's
It was
like
that
a boat
that went up and down Brisbane City.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a really hot date. I'd met him down at Coolangatta on school holidays.
Oh
he
my
was like a
gosh.
surfer. Cam. I still remember it. He was hot. And I was hanging out the front of Calypso, the resort at Coolangatta with Kelly Taylor.
Yep.
And these guys walked past and we're like, what are you guys doing? They're like, going surfing. We're like, you want to teach us? And they taught us how to surf. And then I asked him to come to my semi-formal with me. And he came.
You are such a vibe.
He was
such
hot.
a vibe. Amazing.
But anyway, that was iconic. But yeah, I think, look, high school, you know, obviously plays a big part, you know, of who you are, establishing friendships, you know, what kind of friend you're going to be. And I really floated, you know, at school. You know, we kind of had like, it wasn't cliquey as such. There was like groups, but you kind of, everyone was welcome, you know, like 1 minute, all the surfy girls, you know, Jess the Wreck and even Kate, you know, who's still our friend, great friend.
Yeah.
She was one of my bridesmaids, right?
Yeah.
You know, like they were all the cool, surfy, sporty, you know, tanned chicks with blonde hair. You know, you could float over there and then you could hang out with Dominic Azar and Emily Tennant, you know, like, and then we would come together and be, you know, like in English together, writing notes. And I've still got a box of I should have brought them with me.
Oh my gosh.
All your love letters about Ronaldo. Remember him?
Did he play basketball?
Yes.
Oh.
And used to hang out at the Logan Lightning or Logan Thunder.
He called me a fox and I still to this day was like,
Center
he
at
called me
Cornubia
a
in
fox.
sports. And you used to go to watch him.
Can we not?
I think you played basketball for a little bit just so that you could go and see him.
I still play b-ball.
Yeah, you were pretty good with your mullet. But yeah, like I don't know,
Ronaldo.
like yeah.
No.
I think soundtrack to you know, 90s R&B, hip hop. I loved Mariah Carey back then too. You know, that was my breakup album when Joel Durick broke up with me in grade 10.
Bloody Joel.
Devastating, right? I kissed another boy. It was my fault. I shouldn't have. And my bestie, Kate, she told on me.
You were wild.
She told his sister and they confronted me in the toilet and they're like, if you don't tell him, we will. And I was like, oh, God.
That's friendship.
Yeah. He rode his bike over from Big W, did his shift at the Hyperdome and broke up with me in the driveway. It was really sad. And then I just played Mariah Carey, I Don't Want to Cry, on repeat. I pause, I'd write the lyrics out and cry, then press play, and then I'd listen, and then I'd press pause, and I'd write the lyrics out.
Love, iconic.
But yeah, I don't know. Look,
it was such an, like, now that 90s is coming back, it's like,
the 90s was it, baby.
Yeah,
it was the decade, I reckon, you know, and the blue light discos at the Hyperdome.
Which I was never allowed to go to.
Hyperage.
I'd live vicariously through you. What was it like?
Yeah, it was so much fun. We had a great time. St. Eddie's discos, you know, like that was the time to be at the Savage Garden first concert.
Well, they were from up the road in Logan. I was
boys.
like, there you go.
Yeah, more Logan
we
kids
can
done good,
do it too.
Yeah. But, you know, it's one of those things, you know, you can either allow it to shape you or you make choices to be different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even kids who come from the hardest of places sometimes, you know, are the most successful because they know what it's like.
Resilience.
To be down and out and be broke and, you know, all of those things. And they're driven and they want to work hard to be something or they don't and they choose to continue.
Repeat the cycle.
Right?
Yep.
You know, and we were really lucky that, you know, we had opportunities, you know, come our way or friendships that we sustained that, you know, helped us keep moving forward, you know, and being us.
Yes. Build that character. Beautiful. I have one more segment for you.
Yes.
Words to live your week by. Words to live your week by. Every week I ask our guests to share some words of wisdom with the listeners that they can go into their week to reflect on, and if they get into a little tricky spot, is there a quote that you love that you want to share today?
I think the one for me that I really like is those who matter don't mind and those who mind don't matter.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think just that in itself is really important because people will either love you or not. And the people that love you are the ones that you put your energy back into. You know, they're the ones that don't mind, you know, and then the ones that do mind, do they really matter? Probably not. Are they right for me? You know, probably not. So you kind of got to let it go. But yeah, I think, those who matter, they don't mind, you know, and they'll forgive and make allowances for, you know, or look past. And then the ones who do mind probably don't actually really matter in the first place, you know?
Beautiful. Love it. Yeah. And
big love energy.
Yeah.
Have all that big love. Just be kind and just love, you know. I even just did it. I mean, I don't know when this is going to, you know, go to the social media space.
Yeah.
But I just did that on our show this week, you know, with Margaux. Like, people don't tell each other that they love each other or appreciate each other enough, right? We kind of just keep going, you know, actions will speak louder than words. They know that I love them because I'll do stuff for them, right? So my girlfriends, you know, I just expect, because I'm not big on saying I love you to my girlfriends, but I think it's really important, and I think it's important for men too to tell each other that they love each other, you know. And so I made our listeners ring up their best friends on air, men, and say, hey, you know what, I really appreciate you and I love you, mate.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It was so nice, you know, and they felt better for it. You know, they were nervous at first because they're like, you know, I think there's this big stigma around if men tell each other they love each other or they hug or something, they're homosexuals, you know, like, can't be that, you know. But there's something really beautiful in being vulnerable, and love heals all, you know.
Absolutely.
Make
love
the world
is
a
the
better
answer.
place. You know, love is the answer, because you're not born with hate in your heart. You learn that. You're conditioned to that. You know, I taught that or shown that. You know, you're born with love in your heart. That's what it's there to do. So let's utilize it, you know, and just
nurture that love.
Yeah, love it. You know, love your kids, hug them. You know, don't just assume that they know you love them because they're their mum and dad.
Smother them.
Tell them you love them. Cuddle them. You know, tell your boys it's okay to talk about their feelings. Really important. I'm doing that with my boys. You know, like my husband's old school. He's a footballer. He's tough. You know, don't be a sook. Harden up. No, it's okay to be soft. Sometimes it's okay to be gentle.
Feminine energy.
Feminine energy is okay as a male. Doesn't mean that, you know, you got to be fluid or trans or, you know, so many labels and words being thrown around at the moment. You know, just be a good, kind, decent human being. And if what you choose to do in your space doesn't negatively impact anybody else, then that's okay. Be that, you know, and just love.
Amazing. This is why I love you.
I love you. I love you.
Thank you so much, Margaux. I'm going to let you, I know that you've got to run off and do school run and a million other things.
Don't we all?
We all. So yeah, we're going to wrap it up, but I love you. Thank you so much for coming down to the Gold Coast today, having a chat and sharing your beautiful self with our listeners. Thank you
for having me here, and thank you for being you and allowing me to be in your space. That's good.
Amazing. Bye. And there we go. Thank you for listening. If you loved this week's episode, please leave a review or provide a 5-star rating. It really helps us let us know that you're loving the show. And of course, any DMs and comments and shares, we really appreciate as well. All the feedback has been amazing. Thank you so much. You can stay up to date with us and follow our socials, Big Love Energy Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. But we'll pop all the social handles in the show notes below. Thanks for listening, lovers. I can't wait to get into next week's episode. We'll chat then. Bye.
I don't want just anybody. Let me treat you like somebody. Try to dive on a Rari.